Ladies and gentlemen, football fans, a certain former Jeopardy host presents this true audio daily double. Take a listen.
Rodgers is inside the pylon. Touchdown Packers. It's Rodgers running for the score. Right on cue, Joe.
Not only the GOAT doing GOAT things, but telling it like it is. I still own you, and he does. The story was there were Bears fans. There were Bears fans just flipping him off. I think he said. A woman was in the stands shooting the double bird, and Rogers claims, I don't know what came out of my mouth next. I blacked out. Yeah, we know what came out. We know what came out of your mouth, Rogers. And it was the God's honest truth. He owns the Bears. Always has. 22-5. 22-5 against the Bears. I think the playoffs counts too. That NFC Championship game. Um, and about that, that's what baffles me. It's weird that it's Bears fans who come at us with the whole he's only won one NFC Championship game. Yeah, that was against you guys. Yeah, but yeah. So Rodgers, this is after he ran it in. It was just great. He was just great. He was just all over the place, just all over the place. But yeah, Rodgers got it in, and Packers have won 5 in a row since the disaster in opening week. And all was everything's going pretty well. Like I said, the defense continues to do things, and this is with our good bit of our players out. We continue to do things. It's amazing. So, but to me, that's kind of a secondary story. The main story to me, week 6 is it's over. The anguish, the headache, it's over. The Jacksonville Jaguars finally won a game. For the first time in I think it was 400 days or close to it, they won a football game. Now they played in London. I heard they played what 8 games in London total. That's the thing I said. The NFL sends the dregs to London. All the bad teams. I think they're trying to tell the Jaguars something. But anyway, Jacksonville won it with a last-second field goal, defeating the Miami Dolphins, who had 2-2 Tagovailoa back at quarterback. And yeah, so Jacksonville finally did it. The 20 game losing streak they had is over. It was their first win since September 13th, 2020. The opening week of that season. The opening week win against the Colts. So yeah, so that's over. And what else? Oh yeah, we had more overtime. We did. We had more overtime. I think was it 2? It was 3 games. 3 games went to overtime. The Vikings, after they missed a game-winning field goal, they ended up winning the coin toss in overtime. Went all the way on Carolina. Carolina is a mess. That team is a big mess. I remember when they were 3-0. I thought, well, Panthers might do something. Panthers might do something. And then reality set, and Sam Darnold has been kind of lost. Now I still say, I still say the Jets messed him up. But if this keeps happening, that excuse may not fly anymore. But yeah, they've lost 3 in a row. They're down to 3-3, and it doesn't look good. Dallas got an overtime win, despite Mike McCarthy's efforts to muck it up. We warned you about him. We did. We warned Dallas about him. Mike McCarthy is an absolute screw up. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing. He's a disgrace. But in spite of his incompetency, the Cowboys have won They've won 5 straight, and the NFC East is theirs. See, this is what I thought. This is what the NFC East should have been last year. But Dak got injured, and then it became open season in a very terrible division. I think Dallas had a shot even then, but it was a kind of a not a long shot, but they needed help. But yeah. But yeah, this is what the NFC East should have been last year. Dallas just ran away with it, and it looks like that's what's happening. They have a commanding. I think it's a 3-game lead because they're the only team over 500. They're the only team over 500. But yeah. So the East is theirs. The Cardinals are still undefeated, 6-0. They trounced Cleveland. Oh boy, Cleveland has some woes. Both their running backs are out. There's still no word on Jarvis Landry, and I myself am getting impatient waiting for this because I have him in a few fantasy leagues, and so I'm waiting for them to give some definitive news so I'll know what to do. But they have projection numbers for him, even though he's listed on the IR. So who knows? And now Baker Mayfield's out for the week opening game against Denver. So yeah, that team is full of problems. I had the Browns winning the division this year, and it seems less and less likely every week, especially with Baltimore. My goodness, Baltimore finally had a definitive win this season. They did, and I mean a definitive win. They went out there and flat out squashed the Chargers. Remember now, this was a battle between 2 4-1 teams. Yet the disparity was immense. They just flat out blew out the Chargers. It was amazing. And I mentioned overtime. The Steelers. What the hell was that? Now, the Steelers won, but I still have to ask what the hell was that. Because they were at home playing against a Seahawks team that didn't have Russell Wilson or Chris Carson. And even worse, Geno Smith was starting at quarterback. Yes, Geno Smith is still a thing in 2021. I don't know how, but he is. And he will be for about the next few weeks. But Geno Smith was starting a football game for the first time in a long time. When it was scoreless after the first quarter, I should have known this was not going to go well for Pittsburgh. And they ended up going to overtime. And if it wasn't for T.J. Watt, and to be more broad, if it wasn't for them paying T.J. Watt the bounty he deserved, this would have been perhaps the most embarrassing loss the Steelers had since I think it's a tie between that 2018 season between the choking loss to the Chargers, which was at home, and that bad loss to a terrible Raiders team. I think it'll be right there. This would have been the worst. This would have been the worst loss for the Steelers since those 2 losses that year. It would have been embarrassing. It would have been immensely embarrassing had Pittsburgh let the rustless Geno Smith-led Seahawks beat them in their place. But it almost happened. But it's T.J. Watt saved them. And the Bills lost them Monday Night Football. And it's weird. Why didn't they kick the field goal? They were down 3. They were inside, I think, their own 5. Just kick the chip shot. You play on, go to overtime, you may win. But they couldn't do anything against Derrick Henry, and then that bonehead decision, they just decided to go for it. They didn't get it. So yeah, the Bills lost for the first time since week 1, which was to Pittsburgh. So, and the Chiefs beat up Washington, but everybody else does. They still have some problems that need to be solved. But anyway, the thing is, we are 1/3 through the season. This is an 18-week season because it's the extra game now. But we are 1/3 through this season, and I'm trying to get the standings up. Here's how things look. Of course, I think Baltimore at 5-1, they're the best record in the conference. They're the only 5-1 team in the AFC now. The other three division leaders. The other three division leaders, Buffalo, LA, and Tennessee, are all 4-2 each. The Raiders are 4-2. Yeah, congrats to them. They got their first win after the Gruden, that mess. The Bengals are 4-2. They beat up who they beat up? Oh yeah, Detroit. Poor Lions. Denver's 3-3, Kansas City's 3-3, so are Pittsburgh and Cleveland. But again, Pittsburgh has a lot of problems, and Kansas City's still trying to find their way back to a winning record. In the NFC, like I said, the Cardinals are 6-0. You got the Buccaneers, Packers, and Cowboys all at 5-1. The Rams are 5-1 with their big blowout win over the Giants. But that's where the log jam ends. That's where the log jam ends. You got the Saints who are come off a bye now at 3-2. You have a bunch of 3-3 teams. Like I said, the NFC East is just kaput. Washington and Philly are 2-4, but they're tied for second place. And it's a distant second. And Dallas is already 2 up as far as division play. They beat the Giants. They beat Philly. They haven't played Washington yet. But yeah. So I think the East race is over. The North race isn't quite over yet, but we win a few more games, it will be. And even at 6-0, the Cardinals are in a dogfight with the Rams, so that's going to be interesting. And it is a 2-team race now because Seattle's season is pretty much kaput with Russ out. Geno's going to have to win Geno's going to have to win the rest of his starts for Seattle to stay alive, and I can't see that happening. The Niners, they're kind of a wild card. They have injuries, but they don't have as many as last year. Of course, what team does? And so they could have a shot at a playoff spot, not at the division, though. I think it's still between the Rams and the Cardinals. The Cardinals beat the Rams this season, so now they're technically 2 up, really. But we'll see how the rest of the season goes. But anyway, week 6, it was a hell of a week, and here's what's in store for week number 7 as we enter the heart of this season, weeks 7 through 12. Those next 6 weeks, that'll lead to the home stretch, the playoff push. I said Broncos-Browns in Cleveland kicks off week number 7, and that's an important game even this early because both these teams are 3-3 and they're kind of struggling, and this could help one of these. The winner of this game will definitely have a benefit down the line, especially if these two teams are jockeying for wild card positions. Okay, so Chiefs are in Tennessee against the Titans. That could be problematic, especially with a certain Derrick Henry out there running the ball. Packers host Washington. Bengals go to Baltimore, face the Ravens. That's a big game to AFC North. The winless Lions go to LA. That's right, Jared Goff returns home. Actually, both quarterbacks face their old teams because they basically swapped for each other. Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff. Raiders try to go 2-0 in the post you know who era as they host the Eagles. Cardinals look to stay unbeaten, and they will because they're facing the Texans. Tampa Bay is hosting the Bears because Tampa Bay started off week 6 with the win against the Eagles. Sunday Night Football is Indy and San Francisco. Monday Night Football is Saints Seahawks. That's my recap of week 6. If you like this story, if you like this video, click the like button. Click subscribe if you want more. My story on Vocal about week 6 will be in the description below, so check it out if you can. I'll be back next week to recap week 7, and I'll recap the league championship series whenever that ends. It's kind of close. I think the National League's 2-1 Atlanta, and the American League's 2-2. So whenever that ends, I'll recap the LCS. So stay tuned.